Hello, this is Complete Finnish for English Speakers by Excited About Learning. My name is Pasi Mattila, P-A-S-I-M-A-T-T-I-L-A. This course is my first very own course, and during this course you're going to experience a very natural way of learning. We are not going to be memorizing anything. Really, what we are learning here is learning to think about languages and think about learning in general, to be more conscious of our own learning experiences. Half of the content is about learning Finnish, and like I said, the other half is going to be about learning in general, how to be more conscious of it. During the course, we will be building sentences out loud. I will be explaining you some things, and then I will ask you to build sentences out loud. These sentences are not tests, and you should relax and think about the answer. The answer is not so important. The thinking process is 100% the learning experience. Focus on that. The course has been recorded with a voluntary student. It is a real learning experience. I have the script, which I use to teach, but we usually go off script. But the student doesn't have access to the script. It's very important that you don't write anything at all. Because if you write something, the paper will act as an extended brain cell. In other words, your mind will think that the answer is not in your head, but in that paper. And when you don't have the paper with you, you're screwed. If you don't believe me, imagine a situation when you have read for an exam from some book, and then you remember the exact page where you can find the answer, but you don't remember the answer, and the reason why you can't, because you're stuck in the loop of thinking that you don't have the answer in your head. So we don't want this to happen. Don't write. And also, trying to write the material which we are going to learn in this course in a very clear manner is very difficult, so don't try to write anything. Participating is very important in this course. You must be part of the learning experience. If you listen to the audios, everything will seem very logical. But if you are not part of the learning process, you will not have your own learning experience, but rather experience someone else's learning experience. If you don't believe me, think about that classical situation in a classroom where the teacher does the thing and everything seems very logical, but you couldn't reproduce it because the teacher didn't make you part of the teaching process. You must participate to learn and to be able to reproduce and not just understand. But when she did it, it seemed very logical, and we don't want this to happen. Please participate in the course. That is the most important thing that I can say about the whole course. When I ask a question from the voluntary student, pause the audio before hearing the answer. Then relax and think about the answer. Think it through. There's no rush. If you're used to answering in 5 seconds, like in the classic school environment, quiet that voice, because we don't have the need to have the answers in 1 second, because that's not going to help us at all. The thinking process is the most important thing. Sometimes it takes 5 seconds, sometimes a minute, for the voluntary student to answer. The audio has been edited and short pause has been left so that you can pause the audio before hearing the answer and think it yourself, and then hear what the voluntary student has to say. And as long as you understand what is wrong, if something is wrong, you're good to continue. Don't worry about remembering individual words or sentences, because they are not important. And we will be teaching new content through content which we have already learned. Don't ever worry about forgetting some words. We will be looking at ways to remember them, and sometimes getting stuck at points. But if it happens, don't panic, because it's a very natural thing, and we will be looking at ways with which we can avoid these situations. Of course, you need to remember what we are learning, but not through active memorization. Memorization is extremely annoying and most inefficient way to learn. We will be looking at ways to remember things without actively memorizing. Don't try to actively memorize anything. Lastly, but not leastly, I want to give a huge thanks to Mihalis Eleftherio of languagetransfer.org for creating this amazing project. That's why this course is happening. He's the man who I'm going to thank because he installed the tools of thinking in languages throughout his courses which I've been completing, and I got very excited and I felt that I have the opportunity to offer the same thing with Finnish, and I decided to create this course. Without further ado, let's get into the course.